What's up, everybody? We got episode 6 of The Penguin this week, but before we get into the Gold Summit, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you're not missing out on any future breakdowns. With that being said, let's get into the episode. Gold Summit opens as Oz believes he's already taken over Gotham. Their shrooms business is fully operational already too, which is rather impressive as they are ready to start really moving the bliss. Vic's carrying now on his runs too, and Oz is ready to use Sal and Sophia's high-class arrogance to his advantage, working below their view. Sophia's a bit occupied though, banging Julian Rush like the psycho she is. He has yet another line this week too that makes me think he's Matt Reeves' iteration of the Scarecrow. This week he said, "When you find Oz, feel free to use my expertise," which I believe to be his first fear toxin. I've speculated that he's the source, well, original source from Arkham of the mushrooms, and it would just be the next step in that progression. They're just perfect for each other here. Kind of like Vic has been perfect for Oz's mom, which Penguin kind of seems to be getting a bit jealous of. He snaps at Vic for playing into his mom's episode here too this week, even though Vic was just trying to help out. But during her episode here, Francis mentioned going to Rex Calabrese, who Oz admires, to make things right, and I think his fascination for Rex comes from exactly that and his pursuit to make things right for his mom his whole life, not the gangster Rex was known to be. Then there's a couple bumps in the road as far as business goes, the first coming when Sal and Sophia take out some of Sullivan's men, which that's another faction in Gotham, and it seemingly leads to the Triad backing out of any deal with Oz for the time being. Vic also ran into Squid, who knows pretty much everything seemingly, but most importantly, knows about Oz's mom, who Vic deeply cares about now too. Lucky for them, Sal and Sophia still don't know about her as the new duo raid Oz's apartment looking for a target. Sal, he gets to take out some anger, while Sophia searches and ends up finding Eve's drawer in the bedroom. Eve was, and more likely than not still is, one of the few people that Oz cares about. At the top of that list is his mother, of course, but business gets in the way sometimes as he returns to Crown Point to find her in a freezing cold bath. She tells him she wants to die if her body goes before her mind does, as she's very much aware at this moment of her mental state, which is just devastating for Oz. He gets her all dressed up to try and take her back to a happy time and just shoot a little joy into her life. And he name drops someone they knew, somehow, I'm not sure, they don't specify, named Gilda, as that could be a nod by the creators to Harvey Dent's wife in the comics, Gilda Dent, who's a major part of the Long Halloween story, of course. Also, Vic is trying to warn Oz about Squid, but Oz is just too focused on his mom to care all too much, leaving things in Vic's hands. Meanwhile, Sophia is on the hunt for Eve. She stumbles upon Roxy, who's willing to sell out for the right price, but we quickly learn that Eve and Roxy were just making a quick buck off Sophia, knowing that she would come looking. Eve's world is shattered though when she finds out Sophia isn't the hangman and that Oz was involved in framing her and covering for Carmine Falcone, who actually murdered her friends. More importantly, my Clayface theory is back alive despite his future in Creature Commandos. With Eve's wardrobe set up, it feels rather similar to an actor's dressing room, tying back to Basil Carlo, Clayface, who she of course shares the name with. Sophia ends up letting her live too, which leads to Eve revealing Oz's setup in Crown Point. While all that's going on, Oz pays one of Carmine's old congressmen a visit. He forces his bribe on the congressman face to face this time after sending his note earlier in the season and gets power back to Crown Point. Vic is also taking care of business as he goes to see Squid. He tries to pay him off, but Squid threatens to get more money from Sophia and Sal after being pissed off by the offer, so Vic pops him. This is going to go down as the moment that seals Vic's fate in the final two episodes, despite how much it shakes him up. He returns to their base in the abandoned station, with Oz being rather proud once he realizes what happened. He reassures Vic that it gets easier, which I'm not sure is what Vic wants to hear at this point, but he also embraces Vic like the little brother that he longs for. It's a great, complicated moment between someone who probably isn't the best person to be giving this advice or any advice to Vic, but it's coming from the right place in his heart, and Vic, who's just had his world shattered. After that, Oz heads off to the Gold Summit. He's brought all the gangs together, except for the Gigantes and Maronis, of course, to join him in taking over Gotham. He's rather motivating here too, especially after Zhao pushes him a bit, calling out his constant betrayal. But despite his pushback, Zhao cracks his beer like the rest, and the deal is done. The episode closes as Vic is still very shaken up, of course, when the power comes back on in Crown Point. When it comes back on, Frances shoots up out of bed to her music like she went back 30 years in time as she and Vic share a great moment. A moment that will be cut short next week as Sophia is inside the apartment with them and now knows that Oz's mom is still alive. That was yet another incredible episode for this show. Everything from Vic and Squid to Eve and Sophia, which was especially great, and the Gold Summit at the end to top it off. The show just continues to get better and better with each passing episode. And so that will do it for my breakdown of episode 6 from The Penguin. This show is honestly moving up my ranks very quickly, getting into the conversation of my favorite TV shows of all time. Let me know what you thought of the episode, though, down in the comments below, and make sure you have a great day.